Hello, my amazing artist. Welcome to art class for the school year 2020-2021. So glad you're here to join us as a Level Grove Bulldog. So today I want to talk to you about lots of things that will happen in the art classroom this year. The first thing we're going to discuss is the importance of entering our classroom safely. We need to be sure that we're all staying safe this school year, and I want to talk to you about my expectations for how we're going to enter our art room. So the first thing we're going to do is when your teacher brings you to the art room, I want you to walk quietly to your seat. Let's be sure that we are always using walking feet because it's important to keep yourself safe and other people around you safe as well. You will be assigned a seat number. Notice that on the back of your chair, everyone has a number on the back of their seat. So I will let you know what your seat number is, and that is where you will sit each time in art class. So the second thing I want to talk to you about this year is, what do we do in art? Just like always, we are going to experience art. We're going to learn to create art, we're going to appreciate art, and we're going to experience art in fun and exciting ways. Now, there are a lot of expectations I have for you in the art room, but none of which that I don't think that you can accomplish. So the first expectation that I have is to be kind to others. Always treat others the way that you want to be treated yourself. When you do that, you'll find that you make more friends and that you and other people are happy and you treat each other the right way. So what I want to talk about second is respect. You need to always be respectful of the adults in your building who are here to keep you safe and here to love you. And you also need to be respectful of each other. Be respectful, especially this year, of your personal space. I want everyone to raise your hands and make a bubble around your body, a bubble around your body. That is your personal space, the space that other people should not be in. We can care about each other and we can treat each other kindly, but we do not need to get in anyone else's bubble. So you'll notice that your chairs this year are not very close to other people. And so that is because I want everyone to stay inside your own bubble and not get inside the bubble of other people. That is showing respect for them and showing safety for yourself and for others. Have you ever seen a sign like this one? I'm sure that you've seen it if you've ever visited some stores. Sometimes they have a sign that says open when their store hours are open, and other times maybe the store is closed. So we're going to use this year because when the closed sign is on, that means that your ears need to be open, but your mouth should be closed. And that is so that you can listen and understand what you need to understand for today's learning. Sometimes the teacher will be giving instructions. Sometimes it is important information that you need to listen to. So when the closed sign is on, please be sure that your ears are open, but your mouths are closed. And this is a time that the teacher is going to talk to you and give you instructions. Now, when the sign is flipped over to open, just like this, that means that it is your turn to talk. I believe that I want to listen to what you have to say as well. I want to know your knowledge of art. So if the open sign is on, that is the time that you can raise your hand. I will call on you. You can ask questions or make comments about the lesson for today or what you know about the artist. Sometimes we find that other people know lots of things or have experienced things about art that we can all gain knowledge from. So remember the open and close sign. So one of the last things I want to talk about on today's video are the consequences of our behavior. We want positive consequences for positive behavior, but sometimes our behavior needs to have some consequences. So if you've ever played a game of baseball or watched a game of baseball, you know that after 3 strikes, you're out. And no one really wants to have an out in their baseball inning, but sometimes it happens. So for strike 1, if you're up to bat and you get a strike 1, that's a warning. That gives you a chance to change your behavior and realize that you need to make some modifications to make your behavior more safe for others and to help you to learn. Now, let's assume that you have a strike 2. If you go to strike 2, you need to go to timeout and refocus. And I have a chair in the back of the room there where you need to sit by yourself and refocus. And there'll be some activities to help you refocus. If that, again, does not go as planned, then you might end up at strike 3. If you strike 3, that's a parent contact. And the way we're going to contact your parents is that you will receive a strikeout slip. This will go with you and it'll go in your agenda. It will go to your teacher. Your teacher will be notified that you've received a strikeout slip, and your parents will need to get this in your agenda. Now, on our strikeout slip, it says that your name did not run the Level Grove Elementary School bases today. Base 1 is to make smart choices. Base 2, treat others right. Base 3 is maximize your potential, and you want to score a home run by helping others along the way. We don't want to strike out. We want a home run for our Level Grove Bulldog team. So hopefully you will not have to get a strikeout slip this year, but if you do, then you can think about your behavior and ways that we can change that to make our learning better for yourself and for others in our classroom. We will also be collecting Paw Points this year. If you came to our school last year, you know all about Paw Points and specials. Our Paw Points clipboard says, did the class enter as expected? And we talked about entering safely in the first part of my video, the importance of being safe and entering the art room. Second says, did the class respect the teacher during instruction? Well, once again, if you followed the sign of the open and close sign and you were listening and you raised your hand when it was time for when the open sign was on and you were making great choices during the lesson instruction, then the Paw Points collector will circle a point for you for Paw Point number 2. Paw Point number 3 is, did the class respect each other? That goes back to our kindness, treating others the way you want to be treated, staying within your bubble space and not letting anyone come inside of your bubble or not going inside someone else's bubble. And the last, number 4, did the class respect the equipment? Equipment in the art room is very important. If we are going to use paints and paintbrushes at some time in the year, it is important that we take care of Mr. Brush, that we take care of oil pastels, that we take care of any equipment that is in the art room and we use it safely. And the last point is, did the class line up and return to class as expected? Now that'll be your last Paw Point. So you have an opportunity to get 5 Paw Points during the art class, 5 Paw Points. Music will also be collecting Paw Points, and PE will be collecting Paw Points. So in art, music, or PE, you could get 5 Paw Points each day. Now the grade level at the end of the 9 weeks period, who has the most Paw Points added up, and those Paw Points are going to be added up and kept in the gym, so you will know who's in the lead. But that person, that grade level who gets the most Paw Points by the end of the 9 weeks will get a special treat. The whole grade, every person in the whole grade. So you want to try to get as many Paw Points as you can. Now, there will be a Paw Point collector this year. The Paw Point collector will not be writing on the ballpoint pad for safety purposes, but you will report to Miss Church as the art teacher. You will get to make the deciding decision. You will decide whether or not the class has been following the ballpoint rules and whether or not we've gained those 5 points. At the end of class, only the ballpoint collector is allowed to tell the teacher how many ballpoints were collected during the class time. No one else can report the number of ballpoints to the teacher except the ballpoint collector. So the last thing we're going to talk about for right now is how to exit the art room. That is also important. Typically, we might have run to the line to line up. We cannot do that. That's not safe for us. It's not safe for others. So again, you will notice that when I gave you a seat to sit in at the beginning of class, it had a number on the back of the chair. I will call numbers for you to line up. If I call number 1, 2, and 3, chair 1, 2, and 3, then you will go to the door, but you will also walk on out into the hallway. And you'll notice in the hallway that there are little circles on the wall, and each circle has its own number. So you will stand beside your number in the hallway until I've called all the numbers to line up in the hallway, and then together we will return back to class. When returning to class, you need to keep a tame line. We've talked about what tame means last year if you were here. If you're in kindergarten, you don't know about tame, but I can tell you that tame, the word tame is spelled T-A-M-E. The T stands for 2 squares from the wall. We don't want to have our body up next to the wall. We don't want to be touching the wall. We don't want to be knocking any of the artwork off the wall or anybody's work off the wall. And we also don't want to be spreading germs on the wall. So it's important that we stay 2 squares. Look at the squares on the floor, and you're in the second square from the wall. The A in tame is for your arms. Your arms should be by your side at all times. They should not be touching anyone else. They should not be touching the wall. The M in tame is for your mouth. Mouth should be closed when you are in the hallway. When we are returning back to the classroom, we should not be talking to other people. And E means eyes forward. If your eyes are always looking forward, then you won't run into the person in front of you, which would be unsafe for you and for that person. So always keep your eyes forward in the direction that you're going. So walking back in a tame line is safe for you and safe for everyone. So Level Grove Bulldogs, I'm glad to have you in art this year. I can't wait for us to get started creating. We're going to have our own sketchbooks this year. We're going to keep them in our room. We're going to work on lots of cool projects. We're going to get to do some artwork outside. It's going to be an amazing year, and I'm so glad that you joined me for art in this year of the Level Grove Bulldogs.